Hi everyone and welcome to Unit Review. We're your hosts, Jack.
Dan.
And today we're going to be looking at the Triarch Stalker.
Yes.
I was almost going to say the wrong word there for a second. But yes, Triarch Stalker.
Yeah, it's this is one of the hottest units in the codex right now.
So hot right now.
So it's it had a cheeky points drop in autumn, and then with the launch of the new detachment, it's really become exciting.
Well, it was getting obviously it was pretty decent inside the Obeisance Phalanx one, but obviously there were a lot of units that didn't really support it very well inside of it. But that's had a bit of a change with the balanced data slate. But then now with the, as you say, the new detachment, it's looking even better. Even better.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to use it, so we've got a lot to get through.
But you want to start off with the stat block, Dan?
Yes, it's got a movement of 8, which is tasty. It's also a toughness 8. It's got a 3-up save and a 4-up in one. Love that. So it's canny tanky.
Yeah,
It's got 12 wounds, leadership of 7, and an OC of 4, which is also lush.
Yeah, it's very good. Pretty solid stat block with that 12 wounds and the 4-up feel no pain.
Yeah.
Not the feel no pain, sorry, the 4-up in
that would be amazing.
It would have been nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. But no, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Over to the unit composition side of things then. So this model costs 110 points. It is equipped with the Heat Ray and the Stalker's 4 limbs.
Yes.
But the Heat Ray can be replaced with either the Particle Shredder or the Heavy Gauss Cannon Array.
Nice, 3 options.
Yeah, pretty good. And we'll get into the different ones later, but there's been some debate on which ones to pick when we had all the comments.
It wouldn't be the Necron community if we all agreed, would it?
No, exactly. We all fighting over what we all think's right.
Yes, our territorial obsession.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But keywords, Dan.
Keyword-wise, it's got the Necrons keyword, Triarch Stalker, vehicle, and it's a walker. All very straightforward stuff.
Pretty stuff, yeah. Moving on to the weapons then, because again, there's some different variations in this one.
This is where it gets interesting, I think, isn't it?
It is. So there is the Heat Ray, as we mentioned before. This one's quite nice because it has 2 different weapon profiles you can use. It is pretty nice. So the first one is the Dispersed one. It is a 12-inch range. You get a 2d6 number of attacks. This has Torrent, so it automatically hits even.
Yes.
Strength 5, -1, and 1 damage. And it's pretty worth mentioning as well, it also ignores cover.
Lovely.
On this one. It is pretty good. Moving on to the focused Heat Ray this time. So this is an 18-inch range. You get 2 attacks, hitting on freeze, strength 9, -4, and d6 damage. Bit of a big punch there, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's got a keyword there as well, which
of course, man, Melter 4.
Yeah,
didn't even see me read that one.
So that Heat Ray, if I'm again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think that is our only access in the codex to Melter and also to Flame to the Torrent keywords.
Yeah, because the Death Rays don't have them, do they? No. So it's like people were saying in the comments that they would like to see that profile more represent the Knights profile that they have.
Yeah,
with obviously the more they eat better damage and the better strength and such. But realistically, it's a pretty good.
I love the fact that within you can choose that weapon, but then you can still choose how you fire it in the game as well. Yeah, it gives you, but that's not
bit
all.
of flexibility.
Yeah.
But yes, that is not all. There's a few more. So we've got the next one is the Particle Shredder, and this has blast and devastating wounds. It is 18-inch range with d6 plus 6 attacks, so a lot of shots coming at you. Hitting on 2s, strength is 7, 0 AP, and 1 damage. And I'll just rattle off the next couple. Got the last one is the Heavy Gauss Cannon Array. This has lethal hits, 24-inch range, 6 attacks, hitting on freeze, strength 8, -2, and 2 damage. And then lastly, in the melee profile, we've got the Stalker's 4 limbs, 4 attacks, hitting on freeze, strength 7, -1 AP, and then 3 damage.
3 damage is nice.
It's pretty nice to be fair, because a lot of our melee profiles that we have, whenever it's quite good shooting, it's just absolutely garbage in melee. So it's quite nice to see that they've got a little bit of kickback if he was to get tied up.
It's quite a good all-rounder already from what we can see there, isn't it?
Yeah. And those last 2 weapons, the Particle Shredder and the Heavy Gauss Cannon Array, pretty good profiles, but the Particle Shredder, is that any good anymore? Because doesn't the Heat Ray kind of just do the job for you on that one?
I think that's a brilliant point. It's nice to have options, but I think if the particle was the only option, we might feel a little bit hard done to.
Yeah,
but
that's tough.
It's okay, but it's not great. But there's just better options there. I don't know anybody who would take that over one of the other 2 options.
No, same. Yeah, I think everyone in the comments was arguing over the Heat Ray and the Heavy Gauss Cannon.
Yeah,
just because I mean, they're just a good solid stat block, to be fair. I prefer the Heat Ray because I like that flexibility of all right, what target am I versing?
Yeah.
All right, I don't know which one it is. Great. Well, I'll bring that one because I've got best of both worlds.
I think it definitely will come on to this in terms of how you play the unit, but I think I agree with you, but I think it depends on how you choose to play the unit, because there are advantages to the Gauss if you play it in a different way.
Sure, it is the extra range, I guess.
We'll come on to that in a minute.
Certainly will. But next up is the abilities, Dan. You want to go talk through that?
Okay, well, it's got the reanimation protocols, obviously, so you get D3 wounds back in your command phase.
Nice.
It has deadly demise D3, so it will explode because obviously it's a vehicle.
Yep.
It's got Scout 8, which is really nice.
Yeah. I don't know why. I always see this model. I'm always like, Scout?
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know. It doesn't look like a Scout vehicle, a Scout thing to me.
I fully agree. Like, normally your Scout stuff is like fast kind of bikey stuff.
Yeah.
Or,
like Two Blades, which have
light
Scout and
infantry
that.
type thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm not. Obviously, it's a lot quicker. That moves a lot quicker than it looks. Yeah,
it's got it. Great.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
It's just that Triarch Praetorian in the driver's seat, so excited to be out.
Yeah.
He's like, woo!
You got the go button.
It's also got, along with Scout, it's got targeting relay, which I think in 10th edition is actually really powerful. And what it does is, in your shooting phase, each time you select it to shoot, after you've resolved its attacks, you select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more of those attacks. And until the end of the phase, that unit cannot have the benefit of cover. So layman's terms, pick a unit, shoot it, hit it, and you strip cover off it for the rest of the rest of that phase. That's good.
It's pretty good considering if you look back at the profiles. I mean, the worst one there with regards to the number of attacks is the Heat Ray Focus, which has 2 attacks.
Yeah.
But it is hitting on freeze. So you've still got a pretty good chance of at least hitting it.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry too much about, I guess, just not hitting it. Unless you roll absolute garbage, which it does happen to me every now and then. But I guess it's a very unlikely chance that this isn't going to proc every single time you
I
shoot
fully
it.
agree, and I think again we'll come on to it. Depends on how you want to play it, how important that is. But I think it's a very nice thing to have in the pocket, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It is. It's just that extra thing to kind of help buff other units around you, which again we'll get onto on how to play.
Yeah, good. And before we do that, then let's talk about some as a lead into that, some strats. Yeah,
absolutely.
You picked out 3 corkers here, actually.
I do. I really like these ones there. Yeah. So starting off with the first one here, the unyielding forms.
Yes.
This one's pretty good. It's 1 CP. It's in the new Star Shatter Arsenal detachment. This happens in your opponent's shooting phase or fight phase just after an enemy unit has selected its target. You select one Necron's vehicle, which is this one, until the end of the phase. Each time an attack targets a model in your unit, if the strength characteristic of the attack is greater than the toughness characteristic of this unit, you subtract 1 from the wound roll.
Wow, that's
so it's
good.
Like transhuman.
Yeah, mini transhuman. The best you can wound it on is 3s.
Yeah.
And that's good.
I think considering this is a vehicle, your opponent will be putting a lot of big guns into it to try and take it down.
Yes.
So making it that bit harder to get through, always worth it.
Yeah, so off the top of my head, like your average las cannony or dart lance type thing is strength 12. That would be normally wounded on 3s. Is going to go to 4s. So that can make a difference.
Yeah, because being a vehicle, it's still only toughness 8. So it's one of the weakest vehicles. I mean, even a Rhino, I think is that 8 or 9 as well?
Rhino's higher toughness. I mean, you're sacrificing that toughness for speed. It's like
you are, and the Scout. So no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Very good. Do you want to talk about the next one?
Okay, yeah. So the next one is Dimensional Tunnel. This is also 1 CP, and it's also in the new Star Shatter Arsenal detachment. I need to stop calling it Shatter Arse.
I know.
For comedic value, because I just want to say that all the time.
Look, it's get demonetized.
I know. I need to
get out your head.
I need to have a word
You're
with myself.
Filthy, Dan. You're filthy. Clean that mouth.
I had to pause and I was like, don't say it. Don't say it.
Proceeds to say it.
yeah. Just as usual. Sorry, everybody. So you use this one. It's Dimensional Tunnel. It's 1 CP. Use it in your movement phase. 1 Necron's vehicle, which obviously is this one. And until the end of the phase, it can move horizontally through terrain features and models.
Yeah.
Which is massive.
I just think it's really good. It gives you that flexibility of getting this unit in the positions where you need it to be. Especially with those different weapon profiles, you might want to switch up which units you need to attack. So getting through those terrain bits is just handsome. And if you look at it, it's a bit of an awkward model. I've specifically built mine to be as
compact as possible,
inwards as possible, just to allow it to get through those buildings. But I mean, if you think about the terrain that's set up with like UTC and such, it's really only like 3 or 4 lanes of traffic for vehicles.
Yes.
So having that flexibility, you have to get through those terrains, opens the doors or stops you from getting countered as much, in my mind.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And I think you've raised this point before in previous videos that we've done, in that like models that can do this, we tend to forget. Like some knights can move through terrain now.
Yeah, the big ones.
Primarchs can do it.
Terrifying. Yeah,
and I always forget.
Me too. Yeah.
So if you're a sportsman, make sure you remind your opponent. But the likelihood is they will forget that you can do this, even if you tell them. It's strong.
It is
strong.
good. It is very good. The second to last one, 'cause I think there's one that you want to mention as well, is the Territorial Obsession. So this is 1 CP. It is in the Obeisance Phalanx detachment this time. It's in your command phase, and you select one Triarch unit, which is this one is, and until the start of your next command phase, you add 1 to the objective control characteristic of the model in the unit. However, if it has the vehicle keyword, you add 3 to the objective control characteristic. So going from 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 7.
That's
4,
really good.
5, 6, 7.
Yeah, 7.
Had to do quick math there.
You can do math.
That's why I play Warhammer, Dan.
Yeah.
So good.
It's really big though, because particularly like we'll come on to it again, but if you think a lot of the stuff that people chuck out onto a mid board is probably going to be a unit of 5, and it's probably going to be OC1. So you can just stick one of those 4 limbs on it and out OC them with the strat.
It's just so easy to kind of just sneak on there. Yeah. But I mean, like, say if that extra OC of just the extra OC just literally just will surprise you, surprise them. I mean, you can always remind your opponent that you've got it, but
same thing again. Like,
it's just like how much do you have to say in a game? You know what I mean? So,
but it can be. I mean, if you can flip an objective, that can be the difference between winning and losing in a close game. So it's a really good strat.
Definitely.
The last one I wanted to mention is the one I've forgotten its name again now. It's reactive reposition. Which is also in the Star Shatter arsenal.
The new one,
yeah. And this is really strong because it's a 6-inch reactive move, and it's a flat 6 inches. It's not a D6, and it's after once your opponent has shot you. You can spend this CP and move 6 inches. Yeah. So you can poke yourself out from behind a building. Yeah. And then say woohoo.
Yep. Because with the 4 invuln save, you're pretty much going to be saving those shots.
Yeah. You'd be if you can tank some shots, you can bait them out and then move back in again. It's very strong.
Allow all those other bigger units to kind of come out and show their force.
Yes. But also, similarly, like if you can't quite make that onto an objective for whatever reason, and your opponent shoots you, then you're like, thanks very much.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
No,
so
it's good.
But those are all strong strats, and you can see we're already hedging towards a couple of the detachments where it's going to look quite good.
Yeah. It's one of those units where I don't see very much play in a lot of other detachments opposed to Obeisance Phalanx, and obviously now with the Star Shatter Arsenal one, I will see probably a bit of play in this one, and I do want to. I've got one, but I do want a second one now, just to have that supporting unit, because warriors need a bit of support and a bit of love. So whatever they can do to bring down, like anything really is really good.
Yeah, I fully agree, and I think there's some people on who are more fortunate than us on the Necrons group who are already running 3 of these, which must be terrifying for your opponent, I think.
Yeah.
But let's get on to how to play it then. You talked about the guns having good options, or 2 good options.
Yeah, so the particle shredder is just kind of not on the table. It wasn't a table for me, so I went through all the comments. So again, massive thank you for all the comments. I read them all, but no one ever mentioned that one. So unless you do use and you didn't mention it, sorry, but just not mentioned, which I can see why.
Some shy people out there going, particle cast.
It's actually good. But no, I just think the heat ray just outperforms it because it has that flexibility alongside the Gauss cannon array. It's just got a solid stat block, -2 flat 2 damage. It's just it's meaty. So if you're going to play this unit, it's between the heat ray or the Gauss for sure.
Good.
Both have really good options and damage output. So kind of whatever you're kind of feeling, it'll work for. I really like the idea of this guy being like that mid-board presence.
Yes.
He has that toughness to sustain up there. And as you mentioned before, those stratagems to kind of reactively move away if I feel like he's going to get lost. Because with the reanimation, we always forget, reanimation always will, you're moving back into cover, 1 or 2 turns left, he's ready to kind of come back out again. So using that is really good. Overall, his movement is amazing. Flat 8 move, but then he has an 8-inch scout at the start as well, comboed with the dimensional tunnel. He can get in the mid board. You don't have to awkwardly get him around the building, so you can use that stratagem to get him in the right place at any point you want. So it's just an easy one.
Star Shatter gives our guns a salt keyword, so you can advance and shoot as well. Which
there you go.
Because he's got this is another reason why I think the melter's stronger in Star Shatter, because it's got quite a short range. It's 18 for the melter,
So
and
you've got
12
to
for the
get there.
flamer. So you've got to get there.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's like what I would class as a second wave mid board.
Yeah.
So I'm putting my flayed ones out there first, or some of you might use Tomb Blades, but it's the same thing. Your cheap
Flayed
units.
ones.
Yeah.
Always.
Cheap units that your opponent has to try and knock off those mid-board objectives.
Yeah.
And this guy is cheap enough to be the second wave without 110 points.
Yeah.
You don't want to be putting them up there first because you don't want to lose. It's
110
slightly
points.
too much, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's like 2 units of chaff, really.
Exactly.
But the second wave is pretty. I think it's pretty good.
I think it's a good shout. Yeah, just sneak them out. And again, I like the idea of like, this guy is good. He's got some good shooting, but like it's not the best one out there. So that ability to move back into cover from the reactive one is just like, you're never going to outgun anyone. It's good just to kind of keep them a bit safer, pull them back, keep them safe, and allow the bigger ones like the Doomsdarks to come out and just absolutely rinse.
Yeah, I think so. I think that is how I would like to use him more now in this new detachment. Is you could almost pop him out to bait your opponent's big guns like the Land Raiders and things like that out of cover, so they've got line of sight on it
Easily.
Fingers crossed he survives that shooting.
Yeah.
And then you just spend
12 wounds.
four up. Yeah, you've got a good chance, haven't you?
Yeah, really good chance. Really good
But
chance.
then if he can survive and you can get him back in, then your opponent's vehicles are then out in the open for, like you said, for your big guns like your Doomsday Arcs to come out. And what you can also do is then pop him back out in your turn, shoot that Land Raider, strip cover off it, and then hit
allow
him with your
everything else.
Doomsday. So
exactly.
there's an awful lot of play with this unit. I
It's
think.
good flexibility all around. You got good supportive abilities as well. So I think overall, for 110 points, it's pretty decent. Again, I don't see it being used in a lot of the detachments, but only the Beason's Phalanx and the Star Shadow Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, the only other way that people mentioned that they use it is some people who are running warrior blobs, and I'm guessing probably an Awakened Dynasty for that, and they will use him to kind of march up with the warrior blobs to strip cover off units, as we just discussed.
Sure.
And to act as a bit of a counterpunch unit as well.
I can see it. I just don't like warriors. So
for
me, I'm like, well, sorry, I do love warriors. It's just they're not in the hot pick for me right now.
Yeah, I mean it's the warriors still in a tragic place, which is on the shelf, isn't it?
On a shelf in a box.
But I'm really pleased that people can make them work. Good on you. But
it's nice to see it actually back out again, because like I don't remember. I only got it out to paint, and then I put it back away, and it's
a lovely
never seen the
model.
table.
It's great that it's a funny one, right? Because you wouldn't think that if we're thinking about a list in the grand scheme of things, 10 points here or there isn't a massive change.
No.
I actually think what happened was the points drop made people going back and have a look, and then they decided this is quite.
It's
good.
like refresh them and be like, oh, the points drop. It's not massive, but actually, what does it do?
Yeah.
Oh, this actually does a lot more now.
Yes.
So I think you're right. Good.
Coupled with the improvements to Obeisance Phalanx and then the Star Shatter Arsenal.
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
On the flip side, then, how to defeat this unit. So again, it's kind of what we already talked about. So this guy, he is good. He's got a good all-rounder build. He's pretty decent at shooting, but he's not the best.
Yes.
And this is where he will get outgunned. He cannot sustain against another Doomsday Arc, or like one of the big knights that are out there, or any big tanks like las cannons. He'll not survive for long. So you are going to have to kind of keep him alive by using that reactiveness. So, as an opponent shooting at it, you can target it, and you're going to either get rid of it because you've got probably a few different guns to get it, or you're going to make your opponent use up one of their CP. So both is good, because you don't want the opponent to have the CP, but you are just going to basically outpower it. So, just shoot at it and you will take it down. The melee profile is quite scary on this, but if you have a bigger punch of a small melee blob, like some Terminators, with that charge in, you probably will take this guy down as well.
Yeah.
The issue with that one is that since he's a vehicle, he'll still shoot and do everything else. So if you don't bother tying it up, because like with little units, because there's just no point. He'll still shoot out of combat, and he can still move and do other bits and bobs.
That's a brilliant point. Is that if you try and tie him up with 5 Terminators, you might not, unless you are finishing off the last few wounds, you will probably not kill him.
No,
and he's damage 3, so every failed save is a dead Terminator,
and then
isn't it?
He'll be,
and he's going to shoot you.
He's going to shoot you, and he's going to bring you back his own wounds as well. So for 110 points to tie up a Terminator squad, that's probably going to be 200. That's a good trade for us. So
really good.
Just make sure you wound them first and then charge in, or just take them out in shooting. get some big shots off on him. And
I mean,
you'll see
he's fundamentally, if he's used, obviously, you can say this about any unit, but if he's used right in the ways that we just described, it's difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
Particularly in Star Shatter where they can hide him.
It just sucks because as a Necron player, you'll probably have to shoot at least a full, probably like Land Raider or something like that. Yeah. Just take him out because he has that 4-up invuln save. So for us, it's a good trade because it's only 110 points against the Land Raider. That's probably going to be like 200 or 300 points.
Yeah.
So for us, that's a good trade. But, you know, if we pop those extra stratagems to make it one harder to wound, then we're going to even be laughing even more. So yes, we might lose it, but we know that's a good trade because you've spent all those points to try and take them out.
Yeah, exactly. It's if your opponent has to focus all of his big guns on taking out a 110 point unit, then they're not shooting your other stuff. Yeah. Not shooting your Catan or your Silent King or your Doomsday Arcs.
It's a lose-lose, really.
Yeah, it is.
It's a win-win for us.
Yes, it is. It's I think we're going to see an awful lot more of these on the table. I think it might get a points nerf again next time.
I hope not.
See. But it's probably honestly now I fell into this trap. Like I was like, I'm not sure about that. 120 points. What am I going to do with it? And it's actually, if it was 120 points now, based on what we've just discussed, I'd still take it.
Yeah. It's got all the supportive abilities. The weapons are really good. Good movement. It can get a really good OC. So yeah, I think there's definitely got some play in there.
It definitely has. I mean the fact that you can scout up there and it be on those kind of flanks or even right up through the middle, it's about those early game secondaries as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
definitely
it can do extend battle lines, containment, sabotage. It's great for like sabotage and recover assets.
Can easily get there.
Stuff. Yeah,
it's good.
So I'm a little bit in love with it at the
moment. You did just bought a second one, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I did.
Call you out.
Well, my first one I've had since I got since the very start of 9th edition. It's one of the first units I bought.
I had that one for a while. Yeah, I bought it. I played it like once and I was like, oh, this sucks. I was like, get rid of this unit.
Yeah, it was a funny one in 9th because it gave you instead of stripping cover, it gave you +1 to hit, didn't it?
Yeah.
After you'd shot it for the rest of your army, which kind, it was kind of hit and miss.
Yeah,
I suppose. But yeah, I've got the one. I didn't even think about that. I like it. The one I've got, I gave to somebody to paint. Like, did a deal with him, and he's not been very well, bless him. So he hasn't been able to paint it. So I've been waiting a few months for it. I'm hoping to get it in the new year.
Nice.
And so in the meantime, I was just like, I need another one.
I got the itch.
Yeah, I got a good deal from one of our local hobby shops from called Different Not Less DNL Hobbies, and they did me a tasty deal. So I'm like, thank you very much.
Hey, can't complain. No. Can't complain. Little pat on this guy.
Yeah, honestly, if you're not running them, and you don't own them. I mean, they will sell out very quickly. Go and get one. Go and get two. I'm not
you can field free.
Yeah.
Look at us. We're enablers.
I think I haven't written a list with 3 in yet because I don't own them. I think 2 is where I'm.
Happy medium for 2, isn't it?
That's the word. Thank you. Yes.
I like it. No, very good. I think that's it then, right?
Yeah, really good. Thank you, as Jack said, to everybody that commented. Jack's going to run his magic fingers now and we'll put your names on the screen. Loads of fantastic engagement. Well, hopefully we've reached out and thanked everybody in person on social media, but we haven't. We'll put your names on the screen and we really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Let us know if we've missed anything out, how you use this wonderful model. And otherwise, we'll be back soon with a new video. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. And just to throw it in at the end there, I think this might be coming out on Christmas.
Oh.
So, Merry Christmas.
If you're watching,
yes.
I forgot my Santa hat. God damn.
I know, me too. Anyways, Merry Christmas. See you all later.